Okay, at this point, I imagine you're exhausted. I'm tired and I've already learned this stuff and I'm just sort of re-talking through it and this is tiring about. So you must be exhausted trying to learn this. We're not going to do any real work on this last part of field theory. We're going to save it for grade 12, but I want to plant the seed here because this is so critically important. What we've discovered is that there's a deep connection with electricity and magnetism. You can't have one without the other. Those last three things we did, it was all about how electricity makes magnetism. What we'll circle back to in grade 12 is instead of electricity making magnetism, we can do the opposite. We can use magnets to make electricity. That's a big deal. Now instead of having to use like batteries for everything, we can build an electric power grid and plug things into the wall. This is exactly what's happening. Our early power plants were by Niagara Falls. If we can move magnets near a coil, that's going to trigger electricity in the coil. If you go for a drive out into the countryside, you'll see windmills. Windmills are the exact same thing. The power of the wind is turning coils near magnets, and that movement of the magnetic field that's moving near a coil triggers electricity in the coil. That's sort of the flip-flop, using magnets to make electricity. It is a humongous deal. They've made movies, literally there's a movie made called, I think it's called The War of the Currents. Could you imagine if you had the patent on the system that made electricity for the continent? If you were the physicist or the engineer that invented that, that'd be a huge deal. If you were the person to figure out how to make electricity affordable, distributable, and just make it, period. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on with that. You can Google the movie if you want. It's about Westinghouse and Tesla and Edison. We're going to circle back and do the theory of it in grade 12 physics. Well, we've covered enough those three things: long straight wires, magnetic field of a coil, and that motor principle. That's all we're going to tackle for grade 11. There's no equations for electromagnetism. It's just doing those left-hand, right-hand rules. This Google document, this Google slide document has got a whole bunch questions with answers so you can practice. And there's one check-in for you to do related to this stuff. I know it's a lot. I know it can be confusing. All of our units so far have been more concrete, like you could picture a boat moving and that current pushing the boat off stream. This one's a little bit trickier, more abstract. So take your time reading through it, watch the videos, but as always, email if you have any questions.